Good morning, Morgan. How you doing?
Good talking to you.
Great talking with you. I'm a big fan. I enjoy documentaries on music. I was a big fan of Behind the Music. I don't know if you know that series or not, but
Of course.
you seem to gravitate to musical documentaries. Is that just because you love them?
It's because I'm a music nerd. I think I'm also a musician, and I've always loved reading about and listening to music and I just thought, well, maybe I could take my passions and bring them together, which is filmmaking and music. And I've ended up making a lot of music films, but that entire time I was always thinking, am I ever going to make a film that relates to the Beatles? Because the Beatles were always my favorite band. And
They're mine too, and just the individual Beatles are such a complex group of people, and this new documentary, Man on the Run, is such a beautiful documentary, and it gives us a Paul McCartney I don't think we've ever seen.
I mean, that was the goal, is to do a film less about, what he accomplished in the 1970s, but really what's the emotional journey of this character of Paul coming out of a breakup, which is his band,
You know,
having to ask himself these important questions of who am I as a person and as an artist. And, Paul has been interviewed probably as much as any human. So there is a kind of a default mode. And from the beginning, I just said I don't want to go into the normal stories. So, let's talk more philosophically about things. And we did many interviews over many months. And I think you really do get a sense of Paul that you haven't seen before.
what's striking to me is how open those interviews are in the documentary, and um, I always thought Paul McCartney was kind of always held back. He used his humor to, kind of put up walls. And this was such a wonderful, wonderful conversation with him.
Yeah, and I'm glad he went there. I think, I've been doing this a long time, and Paul McCartney was kind of the top of the mountain of like people to interview and to try and get open. But in a way, it becomes a conversation that's almost kind of like therapy because I'm asking him to unpack the most important questions of his life, what he was going through, and really kind of understand why he made the decisions he made. Um, and to his complete credit, he gave me total leeway to make the film I wanted and was willing to kind of open up as much as he did.
Uh, Paul seen the documentary. What did he say?
He said it was like watching his life flash before his eyes. So a little bit like drowning. But he just was very emotional. Then he watched it again. Then he said, I want to screen it for my entire family. So he had a screening with all the grandchildren, extended family, and that screening, he invited me and I brought my family, and it was amazing because I don't think people really understood. Even, his children, Stella, Mary, and James, it's hard to explain what their childhood was like. It's what Paul and Linda and the family went through in that decade, the way they lived, what happened, is a hard thing to explain. So in a way, I feel like it explained it even to his own family.
In our final seconds that we have, what do you think audiences will take away from the film?
Great music. I think you will definitely come out of this wanting to go listen to more music, but also just how to be an artist in the world. I think it's actually relatable in a lot of ways.
Morgan, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for that and the documentary. Um, all the best, and I hope to talk to you again.
Absolutely. Good talking to you, man.